the top 3 traits that you look for in a leader? I've asked this question many, many times. Over the last 5 years, I've gotten more than 16,000 responses from business people across the nation. And they've said things such as this: communication, integrity, empathy. But the interesting thing for me, and the shocking thing for me, is that very few people ever said a sense of humor. Humor was never really on anyone's list. If it's on the list, it's an outlier, like they almost made a mistake and wanted to correct it. But humor's huge. It lowers the barriers. It makes you more approachable. It makes ideas flow more freely. It can make your company stand out, and it can make you stand out as well. And countless studies, including those from Harvard and MIT, have shown that creativity and humor go hand in hand. Now, again, LinkedIn just published a report right now that shows the #1 trait that companies are looking for, the most in-demand skill, is creativity. My name is Paul Marks, and I own a company called Beta Test Improv. I teach business improv to companies all across the nation. And why are companies hiring me? They're hiring me for only one reason. In this, the left side of your brain is where you do your logic, your reading, convergent thinking. The right side's where you do your creativity, your innovation, where your sense of humor comes from. But it's one thing for me to say, I want to go to the right side of the brain and say, I think I'm there. It's another thing to actually do it. So you guys have been paired up, and I'm going to bring my lovely wife out here and show you guys how this game works. We're going to sit right here and do that. So this is my lovely wife, been married 25 years. Yay. Okay.
I'm a ringer for counting to 3.
Yeah. So what we're going to do right now is count, and I'm going to show you guys. She's going to count. I'm going to say 1, she's going to say 2, and I'm going to say 3. We're going to continue that exact same pattern of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you guys are going to do the same thing. I think they paired you guys up as well. And that's just the left side of the brain. Watch as we do this, okay? 1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
3.
Okay, this is what we do at home. Okay, so with that with that in mind, you guys do the exact count as quickly as you can and go 1, 2, 3. Okay, stop, 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 stop. I think the whole time it's like, who's my partner? Okay? I swear. Find your partner. All right. Now we're going to go to the right side of the brain, guys. Okay, that was just the left side. Now let's go to the right side. By doing a clap or doing a movement, you're activating the right side. So we're going to clap. Everybody's going to clap in their chair. That'll take the place of 1. Then we're still going to say 2 and 3, but we're going to clap right now. So with that in mind, we'll do it first and show you how it works. Ready?
2,
3, 2,
3, 2,
3, 2.
3.
Good. I won. Okay, so with that in mind, you guys go ahead and do the clap, and then just 2 and 3. Begin. Okay, now we're going to go further to the right side of the brain. Okay, let's go further. All right, so in place of 1, we're clapping. In place of 2, we're going to play a clarinet and do the clarinet sound. Okay, like, who cares? All right, and then we're going to say 3. All right, watch. Here we go. 3.
3.
3.
3.
Perfect, okay? I'll stay with you. All right, here we go. Ready, guys? You do the same thing and begin. Go. Stop. That's the most out-of-tune clarinets I've ever heard. Okay, now what we're going to do is go totally to the right side of the brain. Totally right side of the brain. We're not going to say any numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 is clap, 2 is clarinet with the sound, and 3, you're going to cry like you just enjoyed that clarinet sound. It was so beautiful, okay? All right, so ready? Here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're good. All right, ready, guys? Sell it really hard and begin. Go. Stop, stop, stop. All of you stop. Okay. Now what I would like you to do is I would like you to go back and I would like you to count 1, 2, 3 with your partner again. I want you to refocus, count as quickly as you can, and just do 1, 2, 3. Begin. How many of you, by hands, how many of you was it easier the second time to count 1, 2? Isn't that crazy? But studies have shown when you go to the right side of the brain and come back to the left side of the brain, problem solving is much easier. It's much easier. Now here's the thing, and you guys are really good. Here's the thing, I actually put the clarinet in there, the sound, and then the crying to embarrass you. I really did. Because in order to be that effective leader, you have to raise that bar of embarrassment. And if that embarrasses you so much that you won't do it, that means your bar's here. But we have to raise that bar of embarrassment and play under it. You know, the average 4-year-old will laugh or smile, they say, 400 times a day. The average adult, 13. It goes just like this. And the #1 reason is fear of judgment from other people. You worry about what other people think. Little kids don't do that. They don't care. We can learn a lot from little kids. In 1968, NASA was having a problem landing a person on the moon, and they talked to this guy named George Land. And they said to George, hey, can you figure out a creative test that we can give to the people at NASA and figure out who is creative within our organization? So George devises this test. I've spoken to him. It's really cool. He did pass away in 1916. But anyway, so George makes this test. He gives it to the people who work at NASA. When he gets the results back, 2% of the people there are creative geniuses. 2%. I guess that was okay because they landed a person on the moon in 69. But anyway, he also gave that test to 100,000 adults as well. Once again, 2% of them were creative geniuses. But here's the thing, guys. He also gave that exact same test because it was easy to administer to kids that were 4 and 5 years old. When he got the results back from that, 98% of them were creative geniuses. On the exact same test he gave to NASA. Okay? But it was a longitudinal study, so he followed those kids, and he gave them the exact same test, or the test when they were 10 years old as well. At that point, only 30% of them were creative geniuses. Then he gave it to them when they were 15 years old. At that point, guys, only 12% of them were creative geniuses. And what George Land concluded from that test is that non-creative behavior is learned. You're learning to not be creative because everything is on that left side, and just pushing it here. We need to nurture that right side of the brain. That's the key aspect of it. And here's the beauty of this, okay? And when you look at that test, that creativity is in all of us. It is just dormant. If we were all 3, 4, and 5 years old, like we just did with that game, it'd be activated. So we just need to reactivate that childlike innocence, that childlike spirit in our adult selves. That's what we need to do. So I'm going to challenge you guys. You guys did great on the first game. I'm going to challenge you to another game. What we're going to do right now is look at your partner, and we're going to, accents are huge. We're going to start with accents, okay? So again, it starts the whole humor thing going. So we're going to do like a northern accent, so we're going to talk to each other with a little deeper voice, right? So for example, if I was giving you this freaking donut, okay, take the freaking donut. All right, there we go. I don't know why northerners are so angry, all right? Ready? Okay, so talk to each other with a northern accent and begin. Okay, stop. Everybody stop, okay? Now I'm going to challenge you guys. Let's go ahead and do like a Valley girl accent, right, or a Valley guy. Like if I can imagine like someone's on stage with me, you know, like a Valley girl, like, oh my God, you're giving a TED talk. Oh my God, you're not really that smart. I don't understand it, okay? I'm just thinking in my head. So I want you guys to sell it really hard like you're talking to each other, okay? And begin. Go ahead. Okay, stop. You guys are great. Okay, now here's the thing. You ever have those moments where you are talking to somebody or you're at a meeting, then you wish you had said something afterward? Oh, why didn't I say that during the meeting? Right? Or you're talking to a friend, like, oh, why didn't I say that joke at that time? So I'm going to show you how we actually make neurons come closer together. Because as they say in the science world, neurons that wire together, fire together. And neurons that are out of link will fail to sync. So you want to bring them closer together. So let me just show you this. So here are the neurons in a newborn, as you can see. Newborns will make 2 million connections per second. By the time they're 2 years old, they'll have 100 trillion connections in their head. But it's a use it or lose it principle. If you look at the adult, there's less. So if we isolate that, you can see in the adult, there's only 50 trillion. But you notice they're darker, they're stronger. And that's what I'm trying to do today, is to make those neural connections to the right side so we can make them stronger and darker and to help with that creativity and that innovation. So let me show you an exercise that is fun that we can do. So this game's called ABC. So I'm going to start a sentence with the letter A. Then she's going to start a sentence with the letter B. I'm going to start a sentence with the letter C. It's the alphabet game. But what we're going to do is it's going to relate. Like if I was showing her, it's like, all babies are sweet. And she's like, but you were an ugly kid. So then she went to B. Come on, don't you think I was adorable? C. Dang, you had like 3 chins. A, B, C, D. So it just relates, okay? So all of you are going to do a country accent as well. And so we'll do a country accent. So with that in mind, I think I had somebody out there, they can just say a suggestion. Let's say that my wife has gotten a haircut or something, and she's bringing me a cake or a recipe of some sort. What kind of recipe or what kind of food is she bringing me? She's bringing me lasagna. Okay, lasagna. Okay, so we're starting with the letter A. Watch as we do this, okay? And I appreciate you bringing me this lasagna. Her haircut looks delectable today. It is perfect.
But you don't call a haircut delectable, honey.
Can you just not be angry with me today?
Dang it, I'm angry with you every day.
Every day I have to apologize to you, and I don't want to do that.
Forget apologizing.
Girl, I'm so glad you didn't swear. It's TEDx.
Hello, I know better.
All right, now you guys go ahead and do it, okay? So ready? So I'm going to give you a suggestion. You're at a dog park. You're talking to the other person. Start with the letter A, okay? And begin. Hey, raise that bar of embarrassment. Let's rekindle that kid-like spirit that we had because we want that creativity. Guys, ready? Sell it. So here's the key to the game, or key to the exercise. What you're trying to do is to do that exercise, the 26 letters of the alphabet, with no mistakes in 3 minutes. Then you try and get it down to 2.5 minutes with no mistakes. The neurons are getting closer together. They're firing closer together. Then you get it down to 2 minutes with no mistakes. If you get it down to 2 minutes with no mistakes, you're probably thinking faster than everybody else in the room. And what does that do for you? It builds self-confidence. And that's what you want. Now, let's move on to the next thing. How many of you know who Louisa May Alcott was? Anybody know who Louisa May Alcott was? Yeah, so Louisa May Alcott wrote Little Women. She writes this. There she is in a happy state, apparently. But anyway, so she writes Little Women, and she writes this in 1868. And she wrote this in 10 weeks. How did she write 500 pages with no pictures? How did she write 500 pages in 10 weeks? She wrote 7 hours a day with her right hand and 7 hours a day with her left hand until she got the book done. Studies have shown that when you use your non-dominant hand, you're making neural connections that you never thought you had. So we're going to do that right now. All of you have paper, I think, and a pen, yes? Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick for you. So if you are right-handed, we're going to use our left hand, and I am right-handed. If you are left-handed, you're going to use your right hand. We're going to write the alphabet. I do this all the time. I'm going to write the alphabet backwards as if it is in the mirror. So we're not going to go from left to right, guys. We're going to go from right to left. So watch as I do this. So now I'm making connections to the other side. And then that's what I'm going to do. And I write these 26 letters all the time. So I want you guys for the next 20 seconds, go ahead and write the alphabet backwards using your non-dominant hand. All of you look like little kids. Like, I got the A, I got the B. But you know why? Why? Because we're connecting to that kid-like side. You want to do that. Okay, let's stop. I want to show you another exercise, too, that we do all the time. So another thing is sometimes you should write with both hands at the exact same time. Okay? Now, we won't be able to do this because you guys only have one pen, but I'll show you right now. Again, if you're right-handed, start in the middle. If you're left-handed, go from the outside in. I'm not left-handed. So you go from the outside in and keep one hand dominant, one non-dominant. Watch as I do this. Again. So now I'm writing with both hands at the exact same time. And now I'm making connections that way as well. We do this all the time. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret right now. Okay? I was nervous coming in to do this TEDx talk right now. And a couple years ago, I was hired by Nissan to go out and give a keynote speech out there, and I was extremely nervous. But if I write the alphabet backwards and I do this, it calms me down. And here's the beauty of what we're doing right here. If you do this exercise 3 or 4 times a day for a few months, it is going to help you with dream recall. It's amazing. If you asked me 10 years ago, Paul, what did you dream last night? I would tell you I didn't dream. But we all dream. I just didn't know. But by doing this exercise constantly, it's amazing how much information comes into your head as you're dreaming. And then you have more eureka moments. And that's what they're looking for in companies. They want that creativity. But if you're not nurturing the right side of the brain, what does it matter? But by doing these exercises, it helps tremendously. I keep a clipboard by my bed for information I'm going to write down. It helps that much. Now, let's do this as well. Let me tell you this for a second. So, Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, he had 1,093 patents that he did in his life. But he knew he had to go to the right side. Now, again, guys, the right side of the brain, or when you sleep, your unconscious database outweighs your conscious database 10 million to 1. So you want more information to go to that side. Think of when you're awake, your conscious is the computer screen. When you're unconscious, it's the hard drive. So he knew he had to go to the right side of the brain. So he had 1,093 patents. So here's what he would do. Let's say he couldn't figure out a problem. He would put 2 steel balls in his hand, and he would go sit in his favorite chair. And as he drifted off to sleep, the steel balls would hit the ground. It'd wake him up, and he'd go solve his problems. He'd do it constantly, or his assistants would come over. As a matter of fact, you can see in the picture that you're looking at right there, that's in Fort Myers. It's a statue of him. And if you look closely and look at his hand, he has 2 steel balls in his hand. And most people have no idea why. They have no idea why that's happening at all. So that's what's most important there. Now, let me move on here. What is the best type of humor to have on the planet? The best type of humor. Is it sarcasm? No. Okay? I had one person said slapstick. No, it's not Three Stooges at work. Okay? The best type of humor that you can possibly have is self-effacing. Joke about yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. At Chapel Hill, I was an RA, a resident assistant. Okay? As my wife said, I was a glorified snitch, but whatever. Okay? But anyway, I was an RA. And in 1986, the RD, unbeknownst to us, called the parents of all the RAs and said, hey, send in a baby picture of your kid. We're going to post that baby picture on the wall, on the bulletin board, and hundreds of people are going to vote for which baby belongs to which RA. Now, this is the way my mom dressed me to go to kindergarten and first grade, and this is the picture she sent in, okay? It's ridiculous, people. I look like Paul Revere's kid. I'm standing there looking at the picture. I am devastated to look at this picture, okay? I'm standing here. No one can figure out who I am, and I'll never forget. I'm standing there looking at the picture, and a guy's over my shoulder, and he goes, I do not know who she is. Like, me either. I have no idea. So my talk today has been about the 53 easy steps to more effective leadership, right? A step-by-step program. But in actuality, there's really one step that can get the whole ball rolling in a positive and fun direction, and that's humor. But in order to be more creative and to add humor into the equation, you must be willing to raise that bar of embarrassment. You must be willing to try new things and try unconventional concepts. And here's the most important thing. Do not listen to negative chatter. It is just noise. 10 years ago, if you had asked me to come give this speech at TEDx, I would never have done it. I would have been much too nervous. You can ask my wife. I used to have panic attacks in the late 90s where I'd be debilitated for days and in my bed, just nervous about talking to people in this big of a crowd. I would never have done it. But by taking improv classes, by going to the right side of the brain, by doing this exercise, nurturing the right side, by drawing all the time, it changed everything. And to me, that is an idea and an action plan worth sharing. I'm going to leave you guys with this quote. My favorite quote and what I live by is from Teddy Roosevelt. It says, I'm paraphrasing here. It's in the arena quote. He goes, it is not the critic who counts, the person who waits to see if you stumble or make a mistake. They don't count. The credit belongs to the people who are in the arena. And that's what we just did today. Even for 18 minutes, we're doing the Northern accent. We're doing Valley Girl. We're doing those things. And at best, we know triumph. And at worst, if we fail, we do so daring greatly, so that our place shall never be with those weak and cold souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I got to get out of here. Thank you guys so much.